Okay, I'm going to take a small sample. Keep him steady.
David had been a ranger in the reserve for over a decade. He knew the rhythm of the savannah like his own heartbeat, the haunting cries of hyenas at night, the heavy steps of elephants moving toward watering holes, the low thunder of wildebeest herds. He had witnessed the glory of lions in their prime and the slow decline of the old and weak. Yet nothing prepared him for the day he saw Kovu again. It was early afternoon when David's jeep rolled down the narrow asphalt road that cut through tall green grass, swaying in the light breeze. He scanned the horizon as always, eyes trained for movement, for silhouettes that didn't quite belong. Then he noticed a tawny shape beneath a sparse acacia tree. At first glance, it seemed to be just another lion resting in the heat. But when the animal stirred and turned its head, David froze. The right side of the lion's face was grotesquely swollen, a tumor so large it completely consumed the eye and distorted the muzzle. It hung like a heavy burden from his skull, pulling the skin downward until it looked as though the lion's features had melted. Most of the fur was gone, replaced by cracked, taut skin buzzing with flies. Even from the jeep, David could smell the sour, rotten stench of infection carried on the wind. The lion attempted to rise but staggered, collapsing back into the grass. His breathing rasped harshly, each exhale a low groan of pain. The sound sent a shiver through David's chest. It was not the roar of a king, but the cry of a creature suffering. And then David recognized him. It was Kovu. Once, this male had ruled the southern pride with unmatched strength, his golden mane shining like fire at sunrise. Tourists had whispered his name, awed by his power. David himself had admired him from afar, proud that such a magnificent lion roamed these lands. But now, that same lion was a shadow of his former self, brought low by a monstrous growth that devoured the entire right side of his face. David gripped the radio with trembling hands. "This is Ranger David. I've located Kovu. Condition, critical. Large tumor on the right side of his face, covering the eye. He's weak, barely able to stand. We need immediate medical assistance." By late afternoon, the veterinary team arrived in a cloud of dust. Clara, the lead veterinarian, climbed out of the truck and froze when she saw Kovu. "My God," she whispered. "It's worse than I imagined." Kovu lifted his massive head, his left eye flashing with stubborn fire. A rumble escaped his throat, not fierce but broken, as though warning them he was still a lion even in his suffering. He tried to rise again, his muscles trembling, then gave up, his body sinking back heavily into the grass. "Prepare the tranquilizer," Clara ordered. Her voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed worry. The dart flew, striking Kovu's haunch. He growled weakly, swiped at the air, but soon the sedative dragged him down into uneasy stillness. The savannah grew eerily quiet, as if the other animals too were holding their breath. The team approached slowly, the heat pressing down on them like a weight. Flies buzzed in frantic swarms around the tumor. Clara knelt beside his head, inspecting the swelling. The sight made even the most hardened ranger turn away. "It's not just an abscess," she murmured. "It's massive, full of fluid and rot. We'll need to drain it. If we don't, he won't survive another week." David steadied Kovu's head while Clara made the incision. The blade cut into the stretched skin, and an eruption of foul-smelling pus gushed forth. The stench was unbearable, thick and sour, forcing several of the team to cover their faces with cloths. Flies scattered in clouds, rising into the hot air before circling back greedily. They worked quickly, flushing the cavity with antiseptic again and again, the liquid running dark and foul before clearing. Dead tissue was carefully scraped away, every motion revealing angry, raw flesh beneath. Sweat soaked their shirts, trickling into their eyes, but no one dared pause. Clara injected strong antibiotics, then added painkillers and fluids through and for. Even sedated, Kovu's muscles twitched, his massive paws flexing as though he still dreamed of fighting. His single left eye rolled slowly, glassy but alive. At last, Clara sat back, wiping her forehead with the back of her wrist. "He has a chance," she said, though her tone was cautious. "But the infection is deep. We'll need to monitor him closely. He'll never see again on his right side." In the following days, Kovu was moved to a secure enclosure at the outpost. The rangers built shade structures and brought fresh water daily. At first, he lay motionless, refusing food. His lips curled faintly whenever meat was offered, a shadow of the pride that once defined him. But Clara persisted. She left small portions of fresh meat near him, stepping back quietly, speaking in low tones. On the third day, as the afternoon sun dipped low, Kovu dragged himself forward and ate. Slowly, painfully, but it was a beginning. David visited often, sitting outside the fence at dusk. He would jot notes in his worn notebook, every movement, every breath. Sometimes he simply watched. The lion's left eye would meet his gaze across the barrier, sharp and alive despite the scarred ruin of the other side. And in that single eye, David saw something unbroken. The pride did not abandon him. The lionesses lingered at the edge of the enclosure, rumbling softly. Sometimes, they paced restlessly as though confused by the absence of their leader. One female lay for hours near the fence, watching Kovu, her head resting on her paws as if waiting. Weeks passed. The wound closed slowly, leaving a jagged scar that twisted across his right cheek and muzzle. The eye was gone forever, hidden behind puckered skin and bare patches of fur. His mane grew thinner, but the wind still caught it, stirring it like a tattered banner. Then, one evening, a young rogue lion appeared near the pride. David, watching from a jeep, tensed. The young male lowered his head, tail lashing, ready to challenge. Kovu rose. He was thinner now, scarred, half-blind. But when he stood, he seemed to draw on a deeper strength. He planted his paws in the grass, raised his head, and roared. It wasn't the thunderous roar of his youth, but it carried. It rolled across the plains, rough, broken, yet filled with authority. The young lion froze. His ears flattened. Step by step, he retreated, until he melted back into the tall grass. Kovu stood a moment longer, his mane stirring in the twilight breeze, his single eye gleaming with quiet fire. Then he sank back down, exhausted but undefeated. To David, Kovu had become more than just a lion. He was a living symbol of survival. His ruined face told of agony, but also of endurance. His scar was a badge of a battle endured and survived. And though disease had stolen part of him, the fire in his remaining eye shone brighter than ever. He was no longer the flawless king of the savannah. He was something greater, proof that even broken, even scarred, life could still fight, still rule, still endure. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.